Welcome to the offseason. After year 2, we went 4-8. We're starting to kick off year 3. We finally feel like we have some good players on this team. The problem is the record isn't great. We have a lot of players who are not meeting their deal breaker, and I'm scared of how many of them we could lose. Let's go ahead and jump right into players leaving and see what happens. Right at the top, our top corner, Davian Kerr, wants to hit the transfer portal. Kylan Webb, our starting strong safety. This one hurts. Aquan Benjamin at running back. He's such a threat with the ball in his hands. I hate that he wants to leave. Jeremiah Newell, who is just an All-American and is fantastic, wants to hit the portal. We got CC McKenzie at corner. I want to bring him back because I really was hoping he could develop and step up. We only have 2 persuasion chances, and there's guys down this list that I already know we need to use it on. We got Davian Kershaw at free safety. Galindo at center. I feel like I should probably try to retain him. And especially now that I see Amani Nagy's on here, that's 2 guys I probably should. And I mean, that don't even factor in our starting running back. Right guard Xander Richardson wants to hit the portal. Tight end Zach Ward wants to go back in the portal. Randy Scruggs at receiver wants to hit the portal. Morris Stark, our starting left guard, is going to hit the portal. We got Tyrone Browning. He didn't play much for us, but he was a situational back, wants to hit the portal. Backup tight end Grayson Brousseau. Vaughn Lewis, one of the guys we recruited at linebacker who I was hoping to develop, a true freshman from last year's class, wants to hit the portal. Andrew Woods, our starting defensive tackle, wants to hit the portal. Dominique Fox, a depth edge rusher, wants to hit the portal. Ollie Richardson, not a big loss there. He's more of a backup for us nowadays. Wide receiver Donovan Hampton wants to hit the portal. And Jordan Ayers, a depth guy that we probably won't miss. But looking at this, we have 2 persuasion chances, and I don't know who we should do it on. There are so many good players here that I don't want to see leave. Jeremiah Newell was, very, very good for us, but I don't see Lewis Carter on here. So maybe we try to get another linebacker to come in and help fill this role and play for us. I feel like I need to try with Nagy, but I don't know, man. It's a very low chance of getting him to stay. And as I look through this, there are other players that we might have a slightly better chance of bringing back. And, man, I don't know. I feel like we're pretty good at receivers, so even though I don't want to lose Randy Scruggs, we're probably going to have to let him go. I like Zach Ward, man. He developed for us out of nowhere last year, but it looks like he wants to go. I'm not sure I'm going to spend it on him. I think I have to try Amani Nagy first. True freshman, All-American. Love him, and it failed. He's going to move on. One last chance here, and I feel like it's kind of between Galindo at center, Newell at linebacker, and Aquan Benjamin. I wish I could see their ceilings from this screen. I think I have to try our star running back, Aquan Benjamin. I just don't think I could stomach him leaving. Let's give it a try. And he left. We are going to be in some serious trouble this year as we look at all the players leaving in the portal. Now, we did lose some seniors that graduated. Kieran Thompson, backup safety. Harrison Saturday made some impacts at defensive tackle for us. Cordell Reynolds, depth receiver. Washington was a kick returner for us. Summers didn't do much. Jose Mills was just a backup. Diego Zimmerman, same thing. Ratliff, depth edge rusher. Not a lot of good players here. Cole Miller Jr. was really good for us in year 1, but we recruited over him, so he didn't end up playing much. And Jimmy Berry's another guy that we did that with that was very good. Like linebacker, Marcelius Pullum was good for us last year. He graduated, and then Terrence Gibbs graduated as well. Nobody here. Maybe Jaron Gilmore could find himself in our draft class. I don't expect any of these guys, though, to show up in our next draft class. I do have some news for you, though. Last year, we had a receiver who went undrafted, and he ended up making the Cleveland Browns practice squad. I do a series in Madden that I don't upload to YouTube, and I'm going to play some of these guys' careers out. So in the future, we're going to see a little bit about how some of these guys' careers are going, and we're going to get updates occasionally at the end of the video in the off season if you want to know about it. I run a franchise that I don't upload. It's slow sim, so I don't actually, play the games. And I'm going to put guys who are in our draft classes who are from this franchise and let them see how their careers play out. From year 1, we already had receiver drawing a blank on his name right now, and I don't know why. But our top receiver from year one was a UDFA that is on the Cleveland Browns practice squad. I'll pop up a little picture of him. Hasn't played this year, and we'll see if any of these guys end up making it. I think maybe Jaron Gilmore stands a chance of at least being like a UDFA type that could also land on practice squads. He's really the only one that made any sort of impact this year. I think Pullum was decent, but he didn't do enough to deserve that chance. All right, now we're going to go ahead and show off our recruiting board here. These are guys from our high school class that we're still targeting to see how everything's going to work out here. And then we added a ton of guys out of the transfer portal as well. I have some points on them. And honestly, I don't know how this is all going to work out. I'm a little worried that we don't have enough points and things just aren't really going to work out well. So we're going to really be fluid with this board, which is why I didn't go into detail as I said it, because I put a ton of players on here, took them off, just trying to get a right mix because we need a ton of guys on this roster right now. So we're going to go ahead, take a look at draft results. I certainly don't expect anybody from here being drafted, so that's it for that. We're going to go ahead, advance the week, and see how our recruiting board looks, and we're going to make a ton of adjustments to it. You know, I have to be fluid with it. Like I said, we need a lot of work. We didn't get enough high school recruits, so we got a lot of work to do. Like I said, man, I'm not very excited with how this team's set up right now, but as we jump in, you know, things are looking decent here in our high school class. Colorado pulled the offer for Elias, so hopefully that means we get him. High school recruiting's going okay. I feel semi-confident with how all that's working out, but we did get locked out on a ton of players here, so we got to remove them from our board. I got to verify that we have enough players on our board in order to continue on here, because positionally we need a ton of people. So we'll be back as quarterback Ty Hawkins locked us out. I was really hoping I could pull him in. LJ McCray, I definitely wanted to get him in as a Gator fan. All right, so this is how it looks right now. We'll be back. I'm going to refill the board, re-roll out all the points, and we'll go from there. All right, going ahead, taking a look at our recruiting board here for the next stage. We added a ton of players. We removed a ton of players. This is what it looks like. We have some interesting people on the board. I didn't really go into detail during the first week, but a guy like Braylon Russell, still not in his top yet, but no other schools offered him. We have an offer out to him. He's a junior, but he's 6'1", 241 pounds at running back. I think he'd be a fantastic guy to bring in. I really would be interested in him. I don't feel confident in a guy like David Stone, but I can't quit. We got a quarterback here in DeMarco Hack I want to bring onto the team. Unfortunately, aren't having a whole lot of luck when it comes to quarterbacks out of the transfer portal, but I'm doing what I can. Andrew Woods has interest in returning, so we offered him a scholarship, and we're going to try to bring him back onto the team. And we also have another guy who has a chance to return to the team, and I think it'd be a great get for us, and that's Xander Richardson, our right guard. He started last year for us. Getting him back would be really, really nice. I don't know if we'll be able to, but we offered him a scholarship. He's open to the idea. So we're going to keep working this and see what we can get here. Like I said, there's some exciting players, but I'm just not very confident with how this is going right now. Let's go ahead, jump ahead to the next week. We still do not have any recruits in this moment right here. So things definitely are quite worrisome. You know, we need a ton of players on this team and just aren't having a lot of luck right now. And I'm really worried that that's not a good sign. Keontae Paxton, I thought we had him, man. And all of a sudden Miami jumps in. So we're going to have to up our points on him, which is easy. I'm only throwing 10 on him because I thought we were going to get him easily. And instead we're just going to send the house on him and hope that that's enough to maybe get him to come here because we need him. I don't know why we're struggling so bad to get these recruits to want to commit here this year. I mean, I know a 4-8 season's not good, but man, I'm really struggling with how bad this is going. Taylor, we're finally moving up. We're the only offer for him. You know, as we're looking at this, we made the top 5 for Stone. We're going to get eliminated, though. I'm probably going to have to take them 25 off of him. Russell, we're up to second place on him, but SMU jumped in, so we're going to have to up our points here if we want to really have any shot at getting him. And I think right here, removing him off of the 4-star Stone makes the most sense, and we're just going to take him completely off our board because there's no point in messing with a guy we're not going to get at this stage. I don't want to take it off Hack, sorry. Down to Russell, I want to put a full hard send on him. I just think his build would be such a good style to have on this team because he'll be able to create with just power, which is something we can't do right now. So I'm hoping we're able to get him to commit to the team. You know, there's a lot of players on the board that they're not really showing a ton of interest in us, and I'm a little worried about it. I think a guy here, like maybe Elijah Grant at guard, we're going to put our last 15 points on him and hope that maybe it'll make a difference. He's not really a young player, which gives me hope he's going to have a little bit of a higher overall. Even if it's in the 70s, that's at least startable in my opinion. Of course, Andrew Woods, we lead the way here, but we have a ton of guys, mostly 2-stars, that we're at the top of their board. It's not really a great thing to be in this situation right now, but we're doing the best we can. And I'm hoping maybe with some luck, we can keep getting this class better. Sorry if you just heard my phone in the background there. We're going to look to add a quarterback to our class still, out of the portal. I don't know how good they'll be, but it's loading really slow here. I think a guy like Steven Jelly makes a ton of sense. Nobody's going after him. We're going to throw him on our board. And we're going to make sure to get him a scholarship offer. So with Njili, we're going to go ahead, offer him the scholarship. We're going to throw 10 points on him. And we're going to see if we can get lucky and bring him in. I don't know. Like I said, we're going to advance the week again and just see if we can maybe piece this recruiting class together. Because right now, I'm not feeling very confident. You know, it's been a pretty rough class so far. I don't know, guys. I haven't had a recruiting class be this tough in a long time. I feel like we really made some mistakes here that we need to learn from and try to do better next year, because I didn't expect it to be this poor. I kind of forgot how bad we were doing when I re-entered this dynasty here and started recruiting again, and just lost a 4-star linebacker that I thought we were going to get him. But, you know, we're locked out on a bunch of guys. Playing time. Why don't you want to come here for playing time? Who's going to start over you, Russell? We're in first place, so maybe we'll get him. But I don't understand who's suddenly jumping him on our depth chart. We don't have a starting running back right now that's better than him. I didn't add a running back to the team. So I'm really confused. And Gili locked me out over playing time. What? How is that shifting? I don't understand. Nobody's overall's gone up. Guess I'm taking Angeli off the board. Guys, I've never had that happen before. I don't know why it's suddenly shifting around. All these guys locked me out, but I need a running back, and I think he would be a great guy to have on this team. Maybe it's because Paxton, but like I'm not in first place for Paxton. I mean, honestly, things don't even look that good for bringing him in. Oh, it looks like he's going to end up being a hurricane. Like, I don't know. I guess all we can do is add another running back to the board and see if we can bring somebody else in, because I don't like our situation right now. I guess Bryce Regis is the only one out of Boise State from Salt Lake City. We're going to go ahead, add him to our board, and just try to work with the hours we got here. And I don't know. I'm not feeling very confident right now, guys. This might be the worst recruiting class I have ever seen. Our team might take a significant step back next year. And that honestly worries me quite a bit, because I was counting on us being better. And it's not like that should be some shocking thing that like, oh, I thought we were going to be a better team. It's just, I've never had a team that I've struggled this hard to recruit with, which is why I like this game. I think they've done a really good job, you know, making it to where it's a little bit more realistic and things are difficult and it's not as easy to be elite. And I think that's a really good thing, but it's certainly made it interesting for our recruiting classes. That's how it's going to sit. We're going to try to get this 3-star D tackle. This is scary. We're going to advance the week, and I guess we're going to really get a look to see how our class is. And I don't know what to expect, honestly. First off, we get Keon Dunlap, a 2-star strong safety. That's good. We get Josiah Taylor, a 2-star Mike linebacker. We got Andrew Woods back at defensive tackle. Xander Richardson comes back at right guard. That's good. Tavares Edwards, a 2-star free safety, committed to us. We got Richard Ray at free safety, a 3-star. Maddox Arnold, a 2-star Mike linebacker. Jerome Carter, a 2-star free safety. Janoris Wilson, a 3-star right tackle. I like that. Get it. Andy Joff, a 3-star free safety. We got a ton of safeties. Braylon Russell, the 4-star halfback, does commit to us. That's good news. Max Schmidley, a 2-star tight end, committed to us. E.K. Gilly, a 2-star strong safety. Elijah Grant, 2-star left guard. Martin Hill, 3-star edge rusher. We got Ty Looker, 3-star tight end. We got a 3-star D tackle in Jamie Labinjo. We got a 3-star in Thomas Lemons to play defensive tackle, which is good. We needed depth there. 4-star wide receiver Lee Elias ended up coming I was a little worried he was going to go to Colorado. We got 4-star center Larry Sproles. That's a big get. 2-star corner Marcus Free committed to us. I'll take that. Glenn Holyfield, a 2-star corner, also committed. Jacob Cruz, a 2-star Mike linebacker. DeMarco Hack, a 3-star quarterback, committed, so now we at least have 3 quarterbacks on roster. Bryce Regis, a 3-star halfback, committed, the guy we added the final week. Brandon Jarrett, the 2-star center, committed. We got Monty Naylor, the 3-star D-tackle. So honestly, doesn't look like we did quite as bad as I thought we would. Let's look at who we didn't get. We didn't get Keontae Paxton. Only normal dev, that's fine. Impact here, star for Elias. We didn't get Horner, impact, that's all right. Impact, normal on Sorensen, who we didn't get. So far, dev traits don't look great, honestly. We missed out on 2 tight ends, that's okay. We missed out on a guard to Ball State, I can deal with that. Carlos Minor, normal dev, I can deal with that. So far, man, Moss is the big one I'm sad we missed out on. He went to Kentucky. He's an impact dev, though, so that's all right. No, we got star on Regis. That's really good. He has some, and on Marcus Free, so I'm happy with both of those gets. You know, I mean, overall, the portal class maybe wasn't as good as I hoped. As we look at our top classes here, Ohio State ends up at number 1. We probably have to scroll a while to find us. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that we had some great class. I mean, it was number 47. I'll take that. Considering we were literally dead last coming into this offseason portal, I am happy with that finishing up where it did. I think that's a very good finish to the season, at least as good as it can be. You know, I do think we still had the top one in the CUSA. We sure did. So I'll take that. That's a good get. Now let's go ahead and look in the portal and see if we can find some guys that left us and see where they went. And if they didn't commit anywhere, unfortunately, we're just going to have to take a look and see if they somehow show up on somebody else's roster. I'd be disappointed. Quarterback wise, we didn't actually have anybody leave our team, but it was guys that we were interested in last year. So we'll worry about that later. At halfback, the big one that we all are probably wondering about is where did Aquan Benjamin end up? And I swear if he didn't sign somewhere, I'm going to be so mad that he left this team to go to the FCS. All right. Browning didn't sign. Benjamin didn't sign. Are you kidding me? Nobody offered Aquan Benjamin. So we're going to have to check it out, see if maybe he appears somewhere. I think it's complete BS that he's not on a roster and he left us. Let's take a look at receiver. I know we had some guys enter the portal here. Hampton didn't commit, and it doesn't look like Scruggs committed either. That's 2 more guys. Basically, everybody that left didn't get an opportunity to play elsewhere so far, so that makes no sense. Why did they leave us, you know, if they're not going to have an option to play college football anymore? Zach Ward at least went to BYU. Rousseau didn't get signed. Ollie Richardson, he didn't sign anywhere. I could have brought him back and probably should have. We brought back Xander Richardson, and Morris Stark heads to Notre Dame. I think he's going to develop really nicely there with this star dev. At center, Teo Galindo didn't commit anywhere. Like, why did he leave then, man? I wanted to have him here. Dominique Fox didn't commit anywhere. I'm not that surprised. Amani Nagy went to Memphis. That might be a step up for him. I get it. I think we're going to be on a better track here, but I understand why he made that decision. Von Lewis ended up going to Maryland. Jeremiah Newell went to UCF. Looking at corners, Davian Kerr is now at Central Michigan. And then CeCe McKenzie followed a lot of other players who ended up going to Air Force. I think he's a good prospect, man. I hope he develops there for him. Free safety, Davian Kershaw never got another opportunity, along with Jordan Ayers Jr. And then Kylan Webb ended up going to Army to finish up his career. That's cool. I think we'll look ahead in the future here and we'll see if any of these guys do end up signing elsewhere. I want to look around a little more and then I'll be back to finish up recording this. If you hear any background noise, I do apologize. Daughter's awake and I'm trying to finish recording it. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look at position changes here as we continue on with our offseason. And we'll get a little bit more of a feel of where everybody's at on our roster. Hack's going to come in at a 66 overall. That's a good 3rd string quarterback. Looking at our running backs, Braylon Russell's an 86 overall. Dude, I absolutely love it. He's not the quickest guy, but he's going to run people over. I'm really excited with him. I mean, that's a really nice get. Regis comes in at a 78 overall. Then we still have depth guys here. I'm okay with our running back room now. Looking at our receiver room, of course, we didn't really add anybody that was high. Lee Elias comes in. He's a star dev, contested specialist. I actually really like him. I think at a 74 overall, he's a really nice get. I think he will help this team. And I'm going to miss forget his name, but he transferred. He never committed anywhere. Scruggs, but you know, I think this is a pretty good get. We got to see what his ceiling is. Tight end room's really weak. Schmidley's only a 67 overall, and he's going to be our starter. At left tackle, we're still pretty good there. Left guard, we're a little weak. Center, we're okay. Right guard, again, we're okay. I mean, Sproles is our best center. These transfers didn't come in really adding much that we got. At right tackle, Wilson's ready to step in and start, and that's fantastic. I'm very happy about that at a 79 overall. I think Lassiter here at a 71 might end up playing on the interior, but I'm not going to actually move his position down there. I just don't think it makes a ton of sense to do that. On the edge, I mean, I'm really happy that we still have Quandale Russell. Hooks is still here. I'm not super stoked about our edge class, but I do think that we have some good players here and we can work with it, especially once Hooks develops. On the interior, Woods is the best at a 70 overall. Lemons comes in at a 68. We still have Mixon. Labinjo's a 67. We need some work. They need to develop, and we're definitely worse overall, but you know, I'm okay with that, honestly. Sam linebacker's really weak. In the middle, Cruz is a 70. Arnold's a 68. Taylor's a 66. You know, not bad, not a high overall, but I can deal with that. Lewis Carter at an 85, still here. Javondre May will just start over at Sam linebacker probably for us this year. At corner, we're definitely weaker than I hoped. Holyfield comes in at just a 60 overall. Freeze a 66. I mean, that's not really great, honestly. Looking at our free safeties, I like Andy Jaff. I think he's really good. And I do apologize, like I said, again, if you're hearing background noise, I'm trying to get it tuned out, but my daughter's up and I'm in the middle of this, so we're kind of in a tough spot here. But Rashad Ray comes in at a 73, 67 for Carter, and we can still develop the guys we already had here. It's not ideal, but I can work with where we're at here in the secondary. Gilly at a 68. I mean, we definitely took a step back at our cornerback position here, you know, and that's where I'm probably most concerned, but I can deal with it. Of course, we still got our kickers, punters. Ty Looker is also going to move over to tight end, which is good. He's a 67 overall, so that will help our tight end room as well here. And if Schmidley's able to develop, he'll be our starter, but I think we have something in the future here with Ty Looker, so I'm all right with this class. Like I said, not the best. We're going to move on here to the next one, which I do believe is our development phase. We got a dev upgrade for Amizi. I will take that. That's fantastic. I'm absolutely stoked about that. Carter also got a dev upgrade to elite. That's incredible. Now we're going to get into our training, and I don't think I'm going to upgrade manually every player, but I am going to upgrade some, like Braylon Russell I want to jump into, and I want to see how I can impact him specifically. I think the big thing for me is going to be trying to get his quickness up a little bit, and I guess we'll work on elusiveness after that, because I think to me those are going to be the most important traits that we can get, and we're going to get him up to an 89 overall. That's perfectly fine by me. I'm very happy with that upgrade. It doesn't tell you the overall, but you can see where he got his attributes. He also added 2 more pounds, which is kind of insane when you think about it. I think Lewis Carter here at top, I absolutely want to upgrade him. Now, he has been really good. I do want to get into his run stopping here. Spend some points, max that out, because I think that I need him to be all over the field for us, honestly. I'm not as worried about his speed or anything. IQ, we're going to up that. And then we're going to put the rest here in his pass coverage. You're going to see the upgrades as they come. And he ends up being a 94 overall, man. That's incredible. Wide receiver Quincy Porter, we have some abilities to upgrade him. We're going to go into route running, I think, pretty heavily, because I want to make sure that he gets himself open, because we trust him down the field and I can't really develop his hands at all. So I want to make sure that he can get himself open, and that'll give us the best opportunity to get him the ball, because we're going to have to lean on him pretty heavily here. He's a really high potential player, man. He's already up to a 90 overall. And with that upgrade, he's up to a 91 for this year, man. He's going to be a very impactful player. Now, I want to upgrade Janoris Wilson here, our right tackle. I think it's important to make sure we get just his pass blocking skills up this year, and his run blocking. It gets him up to an 86 overall. That's a really good upgrade. And in an effort not to upgrade every player, we are going to go ahead and skip around a little bit. I want to do DJ Dash just because he is somebody that I really, really need to see improve. So we are absolutely putting everything we can into his hands right now. because they got to improve, man. After last season, he frustrated me multiple times with easy drops. And then after that, we're going into route running. I don't care about making him faster or any of that. I need him to get himself open because that was a big issue last year as well. I felt like he couldn't get himself open and it really hurt our offense at times. So with that, we get him all the way up to a 90 overall, and I expect a big impact from him this year. We have 43 points here, and I think accuracy is going to be very important to his game. Of course, I think I need to improve his throw power as well, but it costs a lot, man. And I think we're going to do it and get him up to a 90 throw power. And then accuracy is where we're going to continue to dump points. And then we'll go into IQ after that. Not worried about making him faster right now. He's up to an 83 overall. Hopefully he plays better this year because I was definitely disappointed with how he played. Let's go ahead and look at the rest of these upgrades. Eddie jumps up to a 67 overall. Our backup quarterback. Looking at our other running backs, Regis didn't improve at all, which is quite disappointing. I don't know why. He might be at his skill caps because he has a ton of points and he's not. So don't really understand why he didn't progress. So we're going to go ahead and progress him here manually. And I think we're going to go into quickness just because we no longer have that speed demon on this roster with the loss of Aquan Benjamin. So I want to get his speed as high as we can get it. We'll work on his elusiveness next. And hopefully he can be that big threat for us, like big play threat for us at an 81 overall. Jaleel Radley jumped up to a 74. Vincent's up to a 67. I'm happy with that. I think Radley will be a good depth piece for us. Looking at our receivers, of course, we upgraded them to Amizi jumps up 7 to an 81 overall. That's fantastic. Bonza Dillard Norris is up to a 70. He's going to continue to develop, maybe play a little bit of a role for us. Some other depth guys, big jump here from Nix, but he's a senior and he's never really going to be good. Schmidley didn't improve, but he has skill points, so I think it doesn't progress the transfers maybe, so I might have to upgrade every transfer that we bring in. If that's the case, it is what it is. We're going to upgrade IQ, I think, on him just to try to make him a better player, and hopefully that'll make him more useful, even though I don't know how big of an impact it'll really have if we're being honest with you. But we get him up to a 70 overall. Gregory's up to a 77. Lassiter 73. 70 here for Phillips is nice. Grant is a 67. But he doesn't have a lot of space to upgrade. So we're going to spend our points where we can because he's a transfer. He gets up to a 68. Unfortunately, he's just not going to get much better. At center, we got Brandon Jarrett. We're going to upgrade and he can go into quickness a couple times and he's maxed out at a 68 overall. Right guard, Xander Richardson came out of the portal and returned to us. So we got to develop him. I don't think, honestly, I don't know what to expect out of him. We're going to go into strength one time just to try to make it better overall. And then I think we're going to dump the rest of it into his IQ. Just try to get his overall up as much as we can here. That way he's a decent starter for us at a 76 overall. I will say Armstrong developed pretty good. Hartwell developed up to a 69. Right tackle, we handled that one. Flowers is up to a 70. Strange is a 67. Russell only jumped up to a 78. I definitely thought he would develop more than that. Depth pieces here didn't develop great. Hooks only jumped up to a 72 overall. A little disappointed in that. Maybe next year I'll focus on his development just a touch because I want to make sure that I get him better in areas that we need to see him improve because I think he has more potential than this. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Nixon jumps up to a 72. Woods is only a 70. Nothing there really to worry about. And then in the middle, all of our transfers I have to upgrade. I think IQ is where I want to start with a lot of these guys. I think I just want to try to get them up as high as I can. We'll go into pass coverage as well. Get Cruz up to a 74. Maddox Arnold doesn't have a ton of space for growth, and he doesn't get a lot of points because he just doesn't have high potential, honestly. So we're going to dump it all into IQ, basically. Make him as good of a player as he can be because, you know, he doesn't have a bright future, if I'm being honest with you. He's up to a 71. He's a good depth piece. Senior Josiah Taylor got almost nothing, so unfortunately, he's going to probably just stay like our third string linebacker, but we're going to dump it all into awareness because, well, he's an older player, so he needs to know how to play the game and where to be on the field. And with a little bit of luck for him, he's up to a 70 overall. He stands a chance of getting on the field just a little bit for us. These guys are just depth pieces. At will linebacker, Carter is fantastic. We know that. Javondre Mays is 75. Absolutely love that. Grimes here didn't improve. At corner, Pravard jumps up to an 82 overall. So our top corner is the same overall. That's okay with me. Hazy only jumped up 1. 4 for Barkley. Now we got to upgrade Free and Holyfield. So let's jump into that and see what we can do here to make these guys a little bit better. I think man and zone coverage is the most important thing here. And I think with Marcus Free, he has a chance of actually getting on the field for us. So I want to get his man coverage into the 70s because it is very, very low before I even think about putting some in the zone coverage. And I'm aiming for the same thing here. And then after that, I think I want to get his man. Let's go into zone a little bit more here. We'll improve his hands. He's a 76 overall. Like I said, I expected him to develop well enough to get on the field. He's going to be our number 2 corner, so that's good. Now we got to see if we can get Glenn Holyfield any better. I don't think he'll get good enough to get on the field, to be honest with you. But same idea. If he does, I really want his man coverage to be in the 70s at least, because I do play a lot of man coverage with our corners. So I do focus on that pretty heavily if I can. And I think, you know, he's a good player. It froze on me here. All right, we're going to go ahead and spend the last little bit that we can in hands, I guess, just to get him up and overall here. He's a 68 overall. He's not really going to play, but it's good to at least have him be decent if we need him. Boykin's developed here up to a 68 on his own. Everybody else here, I've got to upgrade, so we got some work ahead of us. 76 overall, Andy Jaff, the Ole Miss transfer. Let's work on his pass coverage a little bit here. Ideally, I'd like to get him up maybe into the 80s if I can here. So I'm not going to be able to quite get it that high, but he's a 79 overall player. That's fine for a free safety. Rashad Ray has some extra points here, so we might be able to develop him, but he doesn't have a ton of skill gap or like room for improvement on his skills. So that's kind of concerning here. You know, he's kind of a capped out player. Unfortunately, I don't think we're even going to be able to spend all of his points before we max him out. He might be the better player though, so we might be able to actually have a decent starter here. He's a 79 overall. Let's see if he has any physical abilities we can upgrade. And unfortunately, he doesn't, so that's it for his upgrades. Jerome Carter, we're going to go ahead, jump into his zone coverage here, get it up a little bit. And I think I do want to work on his man just a touch. I don't want to be dreadful. So let's improve that. And we're going to get him up to a 71 overall. Perfectly fine for a depth safety. Now we got Tavares Edwards here. He doesn't have a ton of room for improvement. So, of course, we're just going to go straight into IQ on him and spend the points where we can. Hopefully, it all works out here. And he's a 70 overall as well. So that's perfectly fine, man. I'm happy with our safety depth. Boykin's still way down the depth chart, which is good news. I mean, I'd rather have a 60-something overall guy way down the depth chart. Board, a returning player for us. He's up to a 71. Danberg's up to a 69. But we have a couple transfers here that we got to see how we're able to develop. They might just end up being the better players. Let's kick it off with DK Gilly here. He has impact dev. I want to go into man coverage a little bit. And then I think we're going to focus on zone because our safeties do play quite a bit of zone coverage. So it probably makes more sense to develop him in zone coverage. He's probably going to be our starter. He's already up to a 77 overall here. I'm impressed with how well he's actually developed this offseason. And 2 points. Let's put him in the hands. He's an 81 overall. We have a good upgrade here at strong safety, in my opinion. He's better than Kylan Webb was last year. Sure, I would like to have Kylan Webb still, but I'm happy that we have him on our team, honestly. Next up's Keon Dunlap. We're going to go the same direction with him. Zone coverage is very important to our secondary at safety, so I want to get that up at least to an 80. And then man coverage, I play a ton of it, as I've already said, so let's get that at least respectable if we can to a 70. And then I want to put the rest right back into his zone coverage. We got 3 points to spend here, and let's put it in hands. He's a 78 overall, not going to start for us, but it's good to have him on the team. He's going to be able to hopefully develop some more. Peters got better. He's up to a 78 overall. Soliday didn't improve for some reason. He's not showing up on here. There he is. All right. He didn't improve overall wise. Josie, who's down the depth chart, did, but I'm pretty happy with our upgrades this year. I think we have some good players, and I think we have the potential to be a better team this year. Of course, as everybody suspects, we don't have to worry about encouraging transfers, so I'm not going to worry about that. We're not going to mess with our custom conferences. We already have them set up, but we can absolutely upgrade our coach skills. And with that, we're going to purchase the recruiter tree. And then we're going to jump into the recruiter tree and start developing our skill set here. First thing I need to know offensive line a little bit easier. And then I think it makes the most sense. A position you're going to scout a lot of people at is secondary or receiver. And I think we need help in secondary. So we're going to do that for now. We're going to focus on getting the advanced look for everybody and then go from there. All right, now that we're in the preseason, let's go ahead and show off the schedule. We got South Alabama, and then we go to Kennesaw State and FIU, and then we're at home against our rival Florida State. Then we got Middle Tennessee State, Missouri State, Jacksonville State, all at home. And then we go on the road to play Liberty, Missouri. We have an open week, and then we're at Sam Houston and Florida before we finally finish up at home again against Kentucky, Western Kentucky. This is going to be a tough schedule. We got Florida later. We got Missouri on the schedule because Mateo Galindo and Aquan Benjamin, even though they didn't sign with teams, that is where they signed, and they're both in line to maybe get some playing time. So I'm hoping that we get to see them on the field here. So I went ahead through Missouri on the schedule. A lot of players actually did end up signing with teams, and unfortunately, you know, like Nagy, for example, who signed with Memphis, isn't in line to start, so I didn't go ahead and throw them on the schedule. I was hoping to, and Scruggs didn't end up signing anywhere. Unfortunately, he's out of the game altogether. I hate that they do that. He's too good of a player. A lower overall receivers got put. Like our guy from last year, Zara Smith Jr., he transferred once again, didn't sign with a team. And this time he ended up getting set on a team. And I'm like, how could you do that and not put Scruggs there? But I can't control that. Unfortunately, it looks like he went down to the FCS or decided to go play baseball or something. So it seems like his story is going to end a little prematurely, but that's our schedule for this year. Recruiting wise, we're not going too deep this year, at least this early. It's going to change a lot. Here's the thing. This year, we're trying to do something different. We're not really getting the 4 stars we want, and it really hurt our recruiting class last year, and we're at a mad dash at the end of the year to try to finish out and fill a class. So this year, we're going after 3 stars. And then maybe if I find a 4-star not being recruited, we'll throw them on later and try to compete for them. But I figure we're just going to try to get a jump on the 3 stars we want. We found a couple gems here at the top, and a quarterback and a corner. Corner looks pretty good, 90 speed. I really like that about him. 89 acceleration, 88 change of direction. His zone's good. His man and press are really low. He's going to need some development, but I'm hoping that gem means he has a good dev trade at 6 foot tall. And then we got Chuck Vatican. I'll learn how to say his name better. He's 6'4", 188. He's a dual threat type quarterback. Good throw power at 90, 80 short accuracy, 69 medium, 65 deep. Needs some work. Good speed, but he's another guy with, you know, he's a gem, so I'm hoping we can bring him in, develop him for a year or two, and then maybe he could step in and be our quarterback. Right now, though, that's really all I got for you to be excited about here on the recruiting trail. Now, looking at our roster, Ack has really high upside, even though he only has normal dev. I really like that his accuracy, throw power, and IQ can all improve quite a bit. His running abilities won't improve much, but with that normal dev, I don't know if he'll ever even be able to hit this ceiling. Really, at running back, the only one worth worrying about is Bryce Regis. He has a couple years of eligibility. He has a ton of space to improve, so the hope is maybe we can get him there. Lee Elias, the 4-star receiver who has star dev, has pretty good skill caps. I'm very happy with them. I wish IQ was higher because that would help get his overall, you know, up, but his hands are a little lower. But, you know, overall, I'm pretty happy with these skill caps. I think he'll fill Randy Scruggs' role pretty well. He's just a year behind in the development that we hope to have. Tight end wise, Schmidley isn't worth much, but take a look at Ty Looker. He only has normal dev, so I'm worried about him being able to hit the ceiling, but his route running has a very high ceiling, and I think that's really good. His hands, unfortunately, don't. He can improve as a blocker, and his IQ has some space. I think he could be a good tight end for us, and with that route running being available, I think he could really be an interesting player down the road that we need to keep an eye on. At center, Larry Sproles is a player y'all are going to want to check out. Impact Dev, 4-star center. Look at these skill caps, man. If we can reach that potential with him, he'll be one of, if not the best center in the game. So I'm really excited about him. I think he'll be a good player for us. You know, unfortunately, I'm not that impressed with Martin Hill. He only has normal dev. He's a low overall at a 65. He has decent skill caps, but I just don't think he'll ever be able to get there. It explains why he was a bust, but we needed the help, so that's why we brought him in. Now, Thomas Lemons here at defensive tackle. Impact dev, like that about him. I think overall he has decent skill caps. He'll probably end up being much more of a pass rusher than a run stopper because that ceiling's really low. But I think overall he could be a really good player for us. He's going to be slightly flawed, but that's okay. Jamie Labinjo is another one that we need to take a look at. Just normal dev. And I think overall his game's just a little bit more limited, but he'll be a better run stopper possibly, so he'll have a role on this team in the future if we can keep him around. Monty Naylor with the impact dev. He's somebody that has a pretty high ceiling that I'm really excited about. I think he could be both a good pass rusher and a good run stopper, and that's the type of guy you're looking for. He could be an every down guy for us. At linebacker, there just isn't a whole lot of ceiling here. unfortunately. So we really need to hit that hard. Corner, I will say, I think Marcus Free is a good player to 76 overall. And when we upgraded him with that star dev, we seen he has pretty good, decent skill caps, but he's going to meet his coverage ones pretty soon. So I don't know how high of an overall he'll get, but I think he could be an impact player for us. At free safety, unfortunately, no real good news there. Strong safety, kind of the same idea. The two guys we brought in, both are good players, but they're already kind of near the top of their development, so we're not really going to learn much there about them. As far as All-Americans went, I forgot to show it before I advanced the week. We did have Lewis Carter, who was expected to be an all-conference player, and unfortunately, they didn't give us any projections to be an All-American, so it's kind of light on the All-Americans and projections, but I was going to show it off. I just forgot. We'll have to see if we're able to meet expectations there with Lewis Carter, and then I also did forget on second team all conference projections, they had both receivers, DJ Dash, Quincy Porter, and then they also had cornerback. He's the new guy, going to be at the top of the depth chart. Not new, he's already been here. He struggled last year in Jason Pavard, but they expect him to possibly be somebody to look out for. Now, taking a look at the Heisman standings here, Nico Iamaleava at the top. I don't know about that. Sam Levitt, DeCorian Moore, absolutely possible. Taylor Tatum, I'll admit, don't know a ton about him. And then Micah Hudson transferred to TCU, and they expect him to have a big year for the Horned Frogs. That's all we got for you here in the offseason today. I hope you guys are excited to get into season number 3. I can't wait to get it going. And I'm still waiting for some feedback here as I'm recording this a little bit sooner than I expected to. Time kind of became available or until my daughter woke up. So I was able to get through most of the offseason until she woke up. But either way, we're going to jump into season 3 here shortly. It'll either be live com or post com. I'm not going to commit to anything until I get your guys' feedback, see what you prefer. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, leave them down in the comments section below. I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. And I'll be back with more Sharks, baby. I'm out.